Hello class, we're going to keep with this rendering. I think in this video I'm just going to be doing a bunch of the trim and the extra colors. Again, as I choose colors for things, you can choose your own colors. For demonstration purposes, I am going to do a few different layers. Again, I'd make a new layer for the colors and we're just going to put this down in. So I'm going to make a new layer. I'm going to call this trim, sorry, I got to spell it right, trim 1. And one of the things I want to do is I want to make some of this trim white, and I do have to make it white. And the reason why I want to make it white is because eventually I am going to add at least some things in the background. Right now we're seeing the white paper, so really most of my drawing is transparent. So if I don't put a white layer on it, I'm not going to see what's happening. So at least to start, I'm actually not going to start with white because I won't be able to see it. So I'm just going to start with like a light gray, just again, just so I could see. I'm going to come in and use my pen tool again and just trace around my windows and things of that nature. So my windows are going to be white trimmed. Now I don't care about the glass at this point. I will come back and do glass later on, and I can use layers to cover over it. In fact, it's going to be a lot like this window. If you happen to have some siding color underneath your window, perfectly fine, because what you can do is you can just use a layer, and as long as your layer is set up like mine where it's on top of your siding, it will cover it right up and it won't even matter, just like this. Right, so there we go. And the same thing's going to be true when we get to glass. Eventually it will be covered up and you won't know. Most of this trim is actually going to be underneath some glass. Perfectly fine. Perfectly fine. So we're going to go through and I'm just going to simplify, and I think I might make all of this white. So I'm just going to do it all as one object. You don't have to, like if your door wants to be a different color than steps, then you're going to have to trace your door separately from the steps, separately from the foundation. But for me, I'm going to make it all white in this case. So I'm going to do this big old trace here because it's all connected. Just click, 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 and you follow. There, for those of you out there, you might know there's sort of a way of like paint bucketing colors on. In fact, all of this is going to be white. I'm going to do it. And I could use that tool, and I don't. And I know it exists. I'm purposely not using it. And the reason why I'm not using it is because to apply effects and do other things, oh, I forgot I have to do this as siding. I'll come back and do that. Anyway, the reason why I don't use the paint bucket is because to edit colors and apply effects all becomes hard because you lose layer control. And so I find that just by tracing it out and spending some time tracing it out, really, well, it takes a few minutes right now. It doesn't take that long. It gives me ultimate control as I move through the drawing. And yeah, this is just an intro assignment, so we're not going to be doing too much at that level, but nonetheless, I think it just is what I find to be best practices for more advanced work, and that's why we're not using that tool. And if you don't know that tool, don't worry about it. It really just, I think it gets people who are new to the software, it just gets them sort of lost. Actually, I don't want to trace this roof out. I'm going to do that a different color. So I'm going to do Control Z, Control Z, Control Z to undo a couple points and then click and go there. So all of that for me is going to be white, including out here. I gotta do this as well. Oh, I could have done, yeah, that's a separate field. I could have done this little area. It's a little bit of a foundation I have sticking out here, I guess. I could have done that in the last one, but it's okay. I can always add more shapes. There's no problems with doing it this way. And I'm going to add this as white as well, which again, I understand it's gray, but it's going to be white in a second because I think that's everything I want to be white. So now that I have it all as gray, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select everything by pressing Control A, and I am going to make it pure white right now. And it's almost going to look like it's not there, but again, it's important that it will be there for future work to this drawing. So that's trim 1. I'm going to do a trim 2. I'm going to make this a darker gray. Something like this. And I'm going to do my like edges of my roof in this color. So I'll come through and just trace them out again. That roof and this roof. I'm going to do that way. I'm doing this just to give contrast between the joists and the roof edge, really. Now, again, the trusses, they could be wood, they could be painted a different color. So that's all up to you, however you wanna do it. But I'm gonna keep mine white, and so that's why I want the contrast. Okay, so I got that there. I sort of missed maybe too much here, so I'm going to fix that with my white arrow tool. Move that down. Okay, and I got this roof edge over here to fix. Grab that over here. Okay, see, I messed up again, just a little bit too much. White arrow, I can click the point though and fix it as needed, which is the great thing about Illustrator because it is a real object and it allows you to do that. Now I'm also going to paint this overhang like a red. That's what I did in the last assignment. So I'm going to make a new layer for that. I don't know, I'll call it trim 3. I could call it a door roof or overhang or whatever you want it to, as long as you know what it is. So sort of make it this deep red, maybe a little bit on the orange side color, something like that. And I will pick my pen tool again and trace this out just like this. It's a little punch of color to draw the eye towards the entrance. There we go, just like that. Okay, a few more color elements on here. I'm going to do the roof now. There's a little bits of roof here and a little bit of roof there. I'm going to totally simplify that, lock that layer, call it roof. I'm just going to make it a light gray. It's like if it's a metal roof. I mean, the nice thing about metal roofs in the real world is they can be any color, but sort of keep it simple and not draw your eye to it. So a light gray, and just trace out the roofs with the pen tools just like everything else. Up in here, get to come down around that edge, like that, down all the way over here. So I got that roof there, and I've got this little bit of roof over on this side. Okay. Yeah, just like that. All right. All right. Now I did notice that I actually have a little bit of siding back here that I don't have colored. I want it to be the light blue color. So I'm going to fix that. I'm going to lock the roof layer. I'm going to unlock the siding layer, which is the correct layer. I'll just click this object. You can see it set my color for me. If you have any mistakes, this is a good time to fix it yourself. No problem. Great thing about working in computers, you can edit however you want, whenever you want. So, and even it's true, even I make mistakes sometimes, so that is perfectly fine. Just like that. Okay, there we go. So I've got color on most everything of the house. The thing I haven't done yet is the glass, and so we'll take a look at that in the next step.